This is Nike's most expensive running shoe, the Nike Alphafly. And I love these kind of super shoes with carbon plates in them and this super bouncy foam. But they're also super expensive. Here in Norway they retail for $350. So when I found the One Mix running shoe that is also supposed to be a super shoe with a carbon plate in them for $60, I was really skeptical, but still felt that I needed to try them. And no, this video is not sponsored by neither of these brands. I bought these shoes myself. I will do as fair testing of this as possible. So they're finally coming out some super shoes that does not cost a fortune, or is this a case of you get what you pay for and this will be a really big difference. I'll compare these shoes in 5 categories. First of all, the price, and here we already have a clear winner. Congrats One Mix. Let's see if they can win any more of the categories. That will be weight, comfort, how they affect my running stride, and lastly I will test the performance of these shoes in my lab back here to see how hard it is to run on the same paces with these two different shoes. You of course want the shoes to be as light as possible, because simple physics, during a run you have to lift the shoes several thousands of times, so even a few grams can make a difference. So the $60 one comes in at 257 grams. Now it's interesting to see. And the Alphafly at 221 grams. So the Alphafly takes the win in the weight department, and I had actually hoped that the cheap shoes would outperform these ones in every single category, because that would save me a lot of money. But it wasn't a huge difference when it came to weight. So let's see in the other categories. It's finally time to get to go out and run in these and actually get a feeling for how they compare to the premium Alphaflys. I'm really curious to see if these $60 shoes actually feel like a $60 shoe, basically crap, or if they feel like a super shoe. At least there's a visible carbon plate here and it feels stiff like a carbon plate shoe, so maybe I can get that super shoe feeling, at least I hope so. One thing that is already really interesting with these shoes is that you could think that a brand like this that try to make these really cheap super shoes would just copy from these more expensive brands and try to make something similar, but they're actually doing some innovation on their own. If you can see these two things here, when you lace them up, there goes strings from this back to the heel here, so this should provide you with a good heel lock. Yeah, at least they feel good on the feet. Feels locked in. Before I go out and test these shoes, as mentioned, this video is not sponsored by these shoe brands, but this video has a sponsor that will come in really helpful in this comparison, and that is Coros. So I'm now wearing the Coros Pace Pro, which is my go-to running watch for all my training and racing, and it has all the features you could wish for in a running watch. And it also has this really crisp AMOLED display, and during my testing I will also be using the Coros heart rate monitor, and this one you just put around your biceps to get really accurate readings, and this will help me when I will do the performance comparison between the shoes. And I'll also be using the Coros pod, and with this you can perform a running form test, but more on that later when I will compare how the shoes affect my actual running form. So let's go out and try the shoes. So I've been running quite much with both of these now and tested them on some different paces and switched back and forth. So first of all, how comfortable a shoe feels is, unlike the other things that I will test today, a very subjective thing, but it's actually really relevant because some studies suggest that the feeling you get in the shoe and how comfortable it feels is the best predictor if the shoe will help you run injury-free or not. And I must say, I'm so impressed with this. I actually thought that the running experience and comfort in these cheap so-called super shoes were going to be awful. But to be honest, they felt great, really comfortable fit, and I at least got the feeling that the carbon plate helped propel me forwards. It actually felt more comfortable on the foot than the Alphafly, but the big difference is the cushioning. These expensive ones feel way more cushioned and more bouncy, so I guess the main difference is the foam, and also just the squeezing this, you can feel that they are way softer than the cheap ones. And although this, as I said, felt great, I'm really impressed. I must give the win to the Alphafly because of how extremely soft and bouncy they feel. They feel like running on a cloud, and that comfort feeling is hard to beat. So now I'm taking the course pod and we'll clip it back here to give some really interesting metrics that I will use to compare how the different shoes affect my running form. So the test is simple. You just run for 5 minutes at an easy pace and then run 5 minutes quite fast. And then the pod and watch should give me some really interesting data to compare. I'll run back home and see what the data says, but once again I'm really impressed with the feeling in the One Mix shoes. Let's check the results from the running form test here in the course app, and let's pull both of them up here. So my overall running form score is 70 with the One Mix and 71.3 with the Alphaflys. So the data from these tests suggests that my running form becomes slightly more efficient with the expensive ones. And you get a lot of different data points, and most of these are really similar between the shoes. But one interesting data point is this one, ground contact time, that you generally want to keep as low as possible, and it was 239 milliseconds with the Alphaflys and 242 milliseconds with the One Mix. And this could have to do with the more energy return you get from the foam in the Alphaflys that propels me forwards faster in the stride. But once again, it was really close between the shoes in this test, so impressive by the cheap One Mix, but another win for the Alphaflys. But tomorrow I will do the test that I found the most interesting, where I will test the performance on the different shoes and basically see what happens to both my heart rate and my blood lactate levels at the same speed with the different shoes. New day and a new opportunity to run. So this test that I will do today will also give me a great double interval training day towards a marathon I'm currently training towards. And if the One Mix outperforms the Alphaflys in this performance category, I might even think of racing the marathon in them. So the test that I will do today is that I will run 5-minute intervals on the treadmill times 4 and then switch shoes between each interval, and then also test my blood lactate on each interval and also my average heart rate. And here the course heart rate monitor will be great. I use this for all of my runs to get 100% accurate heart rate data that I can trust in my training and racing. And it's way more comfortable than wearing a chest monitor. But of course the heart rate will gradually go up for each interval on a workout like this, which would give an advantage to the shoes I will run the first and the third interval with. So to fix this, I will run the exact same workout in the afternoon, but switch the orders that I will run in the shoes. Time to run again, all in the name of science. I will extract blood and heart rate data, or this video is just a big and good excuse for me to get to run twice during working hours. Before we check my average blood lactate levels and average heart rate for all the intervals with the different shoes, I must once again say that I'm really impressed with these, because it was not a huge difference in the feeling I got in the different shoes, but the intervals with the Alphaflys felt slightly easier. So let's see if the data actually supports that and who wins this final category. So my average blood lactate levels with the Alphafly was 2.9, and with the cheap ones it was 3.3. And this is also consistent with the heart rate levels. That was 148 on average for the intervals with the Alphaflys, and 151 with the one mix. So once again, a win for the Alphafly, and I'm a bit sad to have to say that the expensive shoes take home the overall win in this test. But it's really cool to see what you can get for $60. It's a good time to be a runner, and hopefully if these incredibly bouncy and energy return giving foams can get cheaper to produce, maybe you will not have to pay a fortune in the future to have a really competitive running shoe. Let me know if you want me to put two other shoes against each other in a test like this in an upcoming video. And a huge thanks to Coros for sponsoring this video and creating these great products for us runners. If you want to check out all of their products, you can click here. Train smart, have fun, and I will see you in the next video.